do you feel like a different person once you've actually gotten through the rehab process and now you're like a normal big leaguer again on a mound?
Well, I've got our son just had his first birthday yesterday, so that's new, and that's been fun. And yeah, just rehab, man. It's been a long journey. It's weirdly been a long journey, but it's been a strangely kind of quick. Once you get caught up in this, just like a season, it's like you look up and it's like, man, 6 months is going by, years going by, just like that. But I mean, it's we can get into a lot here, but it's been a long journey. It's definitely had its ups and downs, but I've definitely got a lot of family time, which you don't get during the season.
Yeah, and that's probably the best part. Now, I want to go through a little bit of the down as you were rehabbing. You had an ankle
Mhm.
injury, and you got hit with a comebacker. Like,
Yeah,
how, tell me about your mind, like your process. Like,
yeah.
what goes through your mind? You're rehabbing, you're almost there, and then boom, these two things happen, and you're like, dude, what is going on? I got to start all over again, a different injury. It must have hurt, honestly, at the end of the day, physically and mentally.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the ankle thing honestly came out of nowhere. I was getting ready for my last start, and you know what? I progressed very well. I mean, up until that point, I'd progressed very well, and yeah, it came out of nowhere. Couldn't walk for 2 days basically, and then but I mean, it was a very minor thing. You just had to get through the first week of getting the inflammation calmed down in the ankle, and once I did that, it was. I mean, I kept throwing. I just wasn't able to push off, and so that was good. And then that ankle thing probably bled a little bit into once I got back going. The velocity had kind of gone back down, and it's like I'm trying everything I can to see some velo. Not only personally, but because I was in a great spot before the ankle thing happened, and I'm sure the team was wanting to see a little bit more out of me, and I get to the end of the ankle rehab, and I mean, 12 pitches in, I get smoked with, I think it was 108 off the elbow, and um, that was one of those moments where the initial shock of getting hit. I mean, it stung pretty good, but then walking back to the dugout, it was like the thought of if there's something broken here, like I'm potentially done for the season. So I had that running through my mind going up to before I got it checked out, and thankfully everything checked out okay. Then it was just getting the swelling out and trying to you know just proceed again. But I mean, it was you get to the finish line twice, and then some unforeseen stuff kind of pops up. But you know what? That's life, man. That's kind of the rehab process, and blessing in disguise. Honestly, just gave me a little bit more time to work on my body, work on my delivery a little bit, and just try to get everything as in sync as I could. And hey, I was able to do that for at least one start here.
Yeah, I love that you said it was a blessing in disguise. Like it was something that, like, I think
Yeah.
sometimes guys come back too early from injuries. But I want you to comment on that a little bit. But I also want to know, like, come on, a line drive back at you. The ball's got a rubber center, Big Woo. Like it's leather string and a rubber center. Like one time, feel the ball. They give you a glove.
You talk about, hey, like that was just reaction, pure reaction. I tried to catch it. I should have kept spinning, and I would have took it right off the butt, and I'd have been good to go. But man, there was no getting out of the way of that, dude. It was smoked, and then I get back to Milwaukee, and I'm seeing, I think we were playing the Padres, and I think Manny Machado and Fernando and these guys were hitting balls like 106, 108, 109, and I'm looking at them come off the bat, and I'm like, good Lord, man, like that. You don't realize how hard that ball is hit until you sit on the side and see it come off the bat like that. But yeah, there was no escaping that one for sure.
Okay, so talking about the blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I talk about all the time. People are like, well, 4 weeks. He's going to be back in 4 weeks. How much do you think, because now you've thrown one game in the big leagues, how much do you think if you can go back to right before your ankle was hurt, you could have done the same thing at that moment that you did now I think it was a month and a half later.
Yeah. It's crazy. Now I know exactly what you're saying. And I think the tough thing for me this year was going to be, how am I going to manage innings to a certain extent? You know what I mean? Like if I'm feeling good, that's great. But anytime you have a shoulder injury, any injury, elbow, whatever it is for a pitcher, the reality is, man, you've got to somehow manage a little bit. And heck, I was on the way back in middle of May, and I don't know how I would have been at this point, or what would have happened. And I think back to before my debut in 17, or I was in St. Louis and I pulled my hamstring before I even picked up a baseball. And I look back on that moment, and I honestly believe, like, leading up to the official debut in Tampa, like, I knew what it felt like all the way up until I threw a pitch. You know what I mean? So I slept a little bit better. I was able to prepare for it a little bit better. And sometimes as a competitor, you get caught up in the moment and you just can't see ahead. You know what I mean? Like you're caught up in that. But honestly, who knows? I really don't have an answer for you how it would have went, how it would have felt. All I know is everything led up until last Sunday, and I've tried to put myself in the best position and put my body in the best position, and no doubt, like, having that extra time allows you to just keep working on things. And the biggest thing I've learned with this injury is time is your best friend. And I'm not obviously not getting any younger, but my body feels great, and it just takes time. And there's no other way to put it. It just takes time, and there's no magical day where it's like, aha, like, I feel great. Like, you have to work on your body every day. And as as you get older, it takes a little bit more time getting ready, and that's okay. And that's kind of where I'm at. But I think everything kind of led up to that day to put me in a good position to be able to perform. So.
All right. One comment, two questions. First of all, that body is not okay. It is nasty. Nobody needs to see it. One thing that I want to know is, how have you recovered? How have you recovered? But also, how good is your stuff? Because I heard you talking about your changeup. You're like, man, it's been like a year and a half, and my changeup has been, I know what you wanted to say, but you said dog crap.
Yeah,
my changeup has been terrible. How is your stuff? Like, do you stand over the rubber and go, I got this? Like,
let me tell you, I'll let you in on it. Like, I've been recovering great. The shoulder has been consistently recovering good now for, pretty much the whole year. Each step I would take, the first outing in Nashville, I was a little beat up after that one, which to be expected. And then it's just continue to make adjustments with recovery in between. And the more and more you do this and let your body know that this is what it's supposed to do and it's what it's used to doing, you kind of just fall into a better groove with recovery. So that's been pretty stable. And, I know what to kind of make adjustments on. If I'm feeling something here, feeling something there, I can able, to attack it a little bit better. And so that's been great. And I'll tell you what, I walked into the meeting in Miami, and I talked to Hossie a little bit the day before on the bench, and I was like, look, man, I don't know. I was like, honestly, I don't know what I've got for you tomorrow. Like, I got 2 fastballs, a changeup, curveball, and a slider. I was like, the changeup's working, we'll throw it. If the slider's working, we'll throw it. I said, but we're going to have to identify that in the bullpen pretty early. And then once we get into the game, and then I get into the, pitcher catcher meeting with Hookie and the coaches. And I'm like, all right, I said, we'll just figure it out once we get out there. And, it's kind of lined up exactly how the whole rehab's going. I pop in for a rehab for a day. I don't know a soul in the lineup. I show up and I try to pitch. And, that's what I've always prided myself on. I've had the stuff, but I've always wanted to be a pitcher. And because as you get later in this game, that's one day it's going to help you out. So I have no doubt that approaching it that way in rehab helped me the other day in Miami. And I did video work, I did all the stuff, but I mean, once you get to the big leagues, stuff ticks up a little bit, and then I start warming up, start getting in the pen and pre-game, and the body's moving a little bit different. And but yeah, I mean, as far as metrically and stuff, like I pay attention a little bit to that stuff, and slight differences, nothing crazy, but I did not have a changeup pretty much the whole rehab process. It was very, very, very hit or miss, and but once I got out there, man, and onto that mound, and it's kind of like a weird place. I'm very comfortable out on that mound, and the body starts moving a little bit different. You get a big league hitters in the box, and things change. So I had no expectations, none. And I said that, look, I've got no expectations. Quite frankly, I didn't care if I gave up 6-7 runs, whatever it was. Just going through what you go through for almost 2 years just to get back on a big league mound is pretty cool in itself. So, yeah, I really didn't care how it went, but it's just icing on the cake of kind of how it did go. So, I definitely enjoyed that day and the day after, and but then it's back to work. You got to get ready for another ball club.
AJ, we're in Vegas right now, and I have not had a lot of time to eat during the day. So
No.
what could we do?
I would love a Huel right now. Vanilla Huel would go down perfectly, because when I have to skip meals because I'm too busy doing what you do in Vegas, which is not eat, I need a quick replacement, and Huel is the perfect thing.
I'm a chocolate guy myself. It's got the chocolate milkshake vibes to it. If you miss a meal, Huel can be your answer. If you're looking for a big protein boost, Huel can be your answer. So go check it out. Our friends at Huel are part of today's sponsorship. They've got you covered, spelled Huel. That black edition is a complete meal to feel full, focused, and ready for your day. Little prep, basically no prep. Shake it, open it. Huel has sold over 500 million meals around the world, and now it's your turn to try it. So go to Huel.com/foul and get Huel today with the exclusive offer for the FT fam of 15% off for new customers if you use the code, FOUL, minimum $75 purchase. Get after it.
Well, it's not all about you. How did Joni handle this, your wife?
You're right.
How did she handle this? Because I'd be remiss to not ask how she handled all this, because I saw when you guys were dating, now you're married, she's gone through your entire process. Going through rehab, we suck as players. As human beings when things aren't going well. How did she handle it?
Oh, man. I gave a lot of folks some gray hairs in this process. And honestly, it's tough being, just being at home and seeing when the team's on the road and you're rehabbing at home, and you see what those families go through and those wives go through with those kids when you're not around. And then when you're there full time, sometimes it wears on you more than it does at the field. You know what I mean? Just being around the field, and she's had to listen to all my crap. You know what I mean? Coming to the house, thinking my shoulder was done, thinking having the bad days, and just sitting there listening. And then some days just telling me to shut up and suck it up. You know what I mean? and that's real too. Like it's not easy on your significant others for sure. And then honestly, you get to that point, and like the day before Miami, like it was one of those, you have those thoughts, like, I don't know what it's going to be like. I know when I'm right and I'm good, like I'm good, but it's like, it's been almost 2 years, man. And then that stuff sets in, and it's like, look, enjoy the moment. And she gave me the best advice. We were sitting at dinner the night before, just go enjoy it, have fun. You've worked, too hard to be so hard on yourself. And, sometimes you need to sit back, and you need that. And sometimes you need that tough love. And she was able to provide that for me. And, it was funny. I could hear, I didn't know exactly where she was sitting. And, her and my daughter, Kyler, she hadn't seen me throw in, 2 years. So she barely even remembers it last time that I threw in 23. And, of course, our son, Bo, who just turned 1. But I could hear her screaming, over the dugout after that first strikeout. And So, I mean, there was a lot of emotion for her, and just to kind of see, I mean, she's seen everything behind the scenes. She's seen the worst of the worst. She's seen the good days. She's seen everything. So it was a big day for her and my family as well. So it was, yeah, pretty cool.
I got to ask you about the contract that you signed with the Brewers. You got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What other teams were in the mix, and what is that like? It's kind of a unique mutual option too that's coming up, and I get it. All that stuff's for later. It's the end of the season. You got to keep going. But what other teams were in the mix to sign you to basically they had to sign you to rehab you and hope you made it back for where you're at right now?
Yeah. As soon as I was non-tendered, probably over half the league reached out to my agent. And it kind of happened like all real fast, and a lot of teams were hot on me from the beginning. And then kind of free agency, you kind of hear this, and then it kind of slowed down. Didn't hear much, but I knew from the beginning after I was non-tendered, I wasn't going to sign until February. I knew that, from the beginning. So I was very patient with everything, and I don't want to get in too much of the specifics with certain teams and stuff, but I mean there was definitely a few teams there at the end, and obviously the Brewers, and and it happened pretty quick with the Brewers there at the end. But some teams approached it in a different way. They didn't want to sign me for 2 years and then essentially rehab me, and if things go well and then lose me. So there was different teams approached it different ways with the rehab. But as far as with Milwaukee, like I knew I needed to throw again in this uniform, and I knew that was important to me, and a big driver for me in that whole process was I got to balance. One, you got to balance the money, and one, you got to balance putting yourself in the best position medical wise to be able to continue my career later down the road. So our PT here, Brent Hester, has had 3 of these injuries that I've had. So that was a big factor for me. He understood, kind of what that took to rehab this. And, honestly, a lot of the teams, great medical staffs. Like it was good to see the other side of it. I know I was non-tendered and whatnot, but I was able to see kind of what other teams had to offer, and there's a lot of great medical staffs out there. But I knew I had to throw again in this uniform, and that's honestly what was a big driver and getting things done here. And I don't know if this is it here or not, but like I know I needed to throw again for sure in this uniform, so that was a big driver.
Love that. Mindset is a huge thing in this whole baseball. People don't understand how hard it is, especially what you went through. Last question here before we let you go. I'm looking at this lineup, pitching-wise, top to bottom, old and young. You got a plethora of really good pitchers, but the guy I'm thinking about is the Miz.
Yeah.
Big nickname, Jacob Misiorowski. I mean, talk to me a little bit about him and what he's brought to the table for the Brewers.
Oh man, look, he deserves all the hype. Like I never got to really watch him in spring training, but man, like I saw him a little bit in AAA when I would go rehab, and then kind of just seeing that transfer over to here and just learning a little bit about the background. Great kid, super humble, everything in between, and obviously you see the stuff and all the hype surrounding it. I mean it's 100 to 102 coming right at you, and he's got 2 nasty breaking balls, and he's flying high, dude. Like if he really hones this in and really understands himself, I think that's the next step for him, is just really understanding like this dude has a superpower, man. And if he really learns how to hone this thing in, it's going to be something pretty cool. So great kid. He's wanting to learn. He's always he's always smiling in the clubhouse. So that's great. We give him some crap, just as a new guy, but man, he's the Brewers found a good one in him for sure. And hopefully he continues to do what he's doing. But man, come on, like it's 100, like every pitch, like it's. But, I threw a fastball pre-surgery 70% of the time. Like if I had 100, it's probably a good 90 to 95% of the time I'm throwing a fastball for sure.